Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. This is an unboxing video. Unfortunately, it's already been done. This was a carrying box, not a sealed up postage type box, shipping box. It was just a box to bring stuff home in. Today is Friday. Yesterday I was out all day, as I explained earlier. Went to Lynn's. We had a nice chat about orchids. We had some nice lunch. I did an amount of filming at Lynn's grow spaces, but I didn't want to go too mad simply because Lynn's got her own channel, so you know that wouldn't be fair. Basically, I took the giant chrysotoxin. So there's a little bit more room up there now. You can see daylight. Yay! So that's good. And I picked up my supposed 4 orchids from Schwertor. And when I got there, I went in the conservatory area where some seats were nicely spaced out for us. And she said, "That's your box up there." And I could see a mount. And I said, "I don't remember ordering any mounts. Unless they mounted one of the tumnias, I suppose." And she said, "Ah, right. Now what's happened is that obviously in a video a while back I mentioned that I was going in with Lynn to do a bulk order from Schwertor's, probably the last type of order this year, and take advantage of that, because obviously they do a single rate for postage, and it doesn't seem to matter how many plants you have, so that gets divided up amongst the number of people, and you don't pay much for postage. So I thought, yeah, I'll jump in on that. I'm sure I can find something on their list. And I chose a Cattleya type and an Epicattleya type and a couple more Tumnias, one of which I lost a while back that I recognised. So I thought, we'll have that one again. So that was my bit. And 2 Tumnias, an Epicattleya and a Cattleya. If my maths is right, that makes 4 orchids. And in my box I could see quite a few more than 4. So Lynn said and explained. Somebody contacted her, having heard there was going to be an order, and asked if they could buy me some orchids by giving Lynn the money and choosing the orchids and jumping in on the order. So I've got 4 more orchids than I expected that I haven't actually chosen or bought. Somebody's done it for me. Apparently this person is in the States and they don't wish to be known. So Lynn's been very good and not said a word about, she said what was done, but not by whom, or by who, however you say that. And yeah, all I can say is thanks. This is unexpected, a big surprise. Lots of people have asked about sending me plants from the States, and you can't. But you can buy them here. So that's what's been done. So I've got 4 plants I wasn't expecting. Now, I'm not well today, so I'm not going to be doing too much filming. And I haven't got one thing wrong with me. Typical Roger. Well, if you're going to do it properly. The thumb that I'm using to press my record button is broken. Now, I don't mean broken in the traditional sense, but it's failing to function properly. I'll film that one. When you bend a thumb, yeah, it's smooth action, isn't it? Well, I'm not going to do it because it flipping hurts. But this one gets to about there and jerks. It goes ba-dum, like that. As though the joint's gone. And it hurts. And then it's like stuck there and I have to force it to get it to go clunk back again. And it's this joint here is messed up. Not on this one, on the other hand. Now, luckily, most of the things you need to do with your hand, you can keep your thumb like that. I was thinking of strapping it to hold it there. But anyway, that's one thing. I've also got one hell of a bruise on my knee where I got up in the middle of the night where I wasn't well. We won't go into details. And while I was going back to bed, I walked into the bed frame and really whacked my knee on the metal frame. So that's stiff this morning. And in addition to that, I'm not well. So, add it all up. And I just feel weak. The first time I crawled out of bed last night was 3:15, And I think I've only dozed since then. I tried getting back to sleep in bed and it didn't flipping work. And I ended up coming down here about 4 o'clock. I thought, well, I'll try and sleep in the chair sort of thing. And I've just sort of been dozing on and off ever since, really. I'm not right, definitely not right. But I can't put, physical injuries you can understand, but that's not feeling unwell, is it? I just don't feel well. I don't feel right. I don't feel bad enough that I can't have any coffee. That'll be the day. I have to be strapped down not to have any coffee. Right, so these are the 8, but there's 9 because in the video of Lynn's place and Alan's place, the 2 places I visited yesterday, are a load of plants from a guy who's recently deceased that haven't found homes yet. Well, one of them's found a home. I said I'd take this one off Alan's hands. It's lovely, quite honestly. No tag, so we may never know what it is. It's a Miltonia of some sort, Miltonia cross. But it's not a bad little plant. It looks quite good. It's got the typical climbing latest growth with roots that are failing. It's just, the only way to deal with this is to mound something up and get them roots down in the pot before the tips dry off. That hasn't been done here. Quite large bark in this case. Looks like there's some coconut husk in here as well. Yes, there is. So it might actually all be coconut husk and it just hasn't been watered. It's very dry. Anyway, so that's a sort of separate thing. And then these are the 8 from Schwertor. The 2 biggies at the back are 2 that I chose. This is a Cattleya, so I have to find places. Oh, that can just go up on the fan for now till we look at that. And that can go out the way. That's not one I chose. So we've got this one, which has turned up with one hell of a latest growth on it, with a sheath. Whether it's blind or not, I don't know. But it was tipping the pot over, so I put a little stake to hold it upright. Very, very large leaf and bulb. And I was going to say, it should have a tag as well. It'll be in foreign. So that is an RLC, and it's Taiwan Good Life Big Wilson. I will try and steal pictures off the internet, because obviously I haven't got any, and do pop-ups of both the names and the blooms, if I can get at them. I might just be able to borrow them off of Schwertor's site. After all, I am plugging their nursery, aren't I? And then this is an Epicattleya. And again, we have a sheath on one of the latest growths. This has been grown on, smaller bulbs getting bigger and bigger and bigger, up to the point. I suspect these may be classed as near blooming size because it's the first sheath they've formed that may or may not bloom, whereas the next one will. So anyway, it's got this strange hanger on it, and this is Epicattleya Volcano Trick Orange Fire, and Volcano Trick is one I've been looking out for a bit. It's just a named version of that just happens to be a bit more fiery orange than the basic one. So those are 2 that I chose, and then in amongst the Tulumnias, the 2 that I chose are, I'm just looking at the names now. Not that one. Put that one to one side for now. That's one of the ones I chose. Recognise the name. And that is as well. So these are 2 that I didn't choose, which I will have to look up. Now that I'm home and I've got the names, I can actually have a look online, go back to the Schwertor site and see what the blooms are like. But the 2 that I chose are Tulumnia Flyer Pinku, just pink with U on the end, basically. And I had that once before, and it was one of the ones that went down in the first Battle of the Scale. So that's a replacement. And then this one, can you guess what colour that one is? That's Flyer Super Red. They both look like quite nice plants. They've got nice healthy fans and roots, and they're in these tiny little pots. Tulumnias can live in them pots if you can keep up with the the wet dry cycle and not let them stay dry for any length of time. They'll live in there quite happily. So that's my 4, and now we've got to look at the other 4. because this is not unexpected and I haven't got a clue what I've got here. Right, so what we've got here is an SLC. That won't be an SLC anymore because the S is the Sophronitis, and they were virtually across the board reclassified as either Cattleyas or something else. So the S is in effect gone nowadays. But when something's registered and named, or like, you know, that sort of thing with SLC on the front, the name tends to stick there. So what we've got here is SLC Seagulls Raindrop crossed with, it's crossed with the Cattleya. Why not? So this is another thing with Cattleya. Why not in it? Excellent. That's got a nice, healthy, strong new growth coming. Again, this has been grown on from a seedling. We have roots. Actually, we have lots of roots, and also we have a soggy pot. Very wet. Well, at least this time of year, it can at least be given a chance to dry out. You know, because although the temperatures are dropping down a lot, there's a remote threat of a frost down here on the south coast. Tonight, I think, or tomorrow night maybe. Anyway, temperatures are dropping down low at night now, but we're still getting a little bit of warmth if the sun comes out, so things will still dry out. If we have a look at this little mount, Cattleya type again, and we've got a tag on the back. It's everything left-handed here. And this is a Sophronitis. Goodness me, that's a long word. Brevipetunculata. Brevipetunculata. That's a strange word and a lot of it. It's not Welsh, is it, by any chance? Again, that probably isn't a Sophronitis anymore. It's probably just Cattleya nowadays. But I quite like the original names that things have spent, possibly hundreds of years under that name, and then some smart aleck comes along and says, "Oh, no, you're going to be something else now." I don't always agree with it. I don't know whether that's an adult plant or not. Most of the Sophronitis in their original classifications were put into hybrids to, one, include the red, because nearly all of them are red, or bright orange, and orangey reds, or to dwarf them down, because most of them are very small plants. In the Cattleya Alliance, they're one of the smallest sets of plants. So by introducing the S into a hybrid, you got an element of compactness and an element of red, potentially, depending on what you got up to. Right, so that's those two, and then I've got two more Tulumnias that have been chosen for me, which is Mochadot. That is a strong, healthy plant. The latest three fans on there are excellent. So this one's been grown on from a reasonably small plant, and it's doing it incredibly well. That is a good, strong plant. That's a good one. So that's one of the ones. And then this one is the only one with a handwritten label. How unusual. Never mind. And this is Tulumnia Bloody Bird. Sounds like something that keeps waking you up first thing in the morning, doesn't it? Again, a nice strong plant. Good healthy new growth on there, and another one coming, another small one by my thumb there, my working thumb. I'm going to wiggle that all day just to show I can. And that's even got plants coming out the base. I better put that one down flat then, haven't I? So those are the new plants. We may or may not see blooms on this one. They are huge. We may or may not see blooms on this one. They're a gorgeous colour. And then we've got the four Tulumnias, which, quite honestly, all of them look like they could easily produce a spike on their latest fan, but maybe not. We are heading into winter now. It's not traditionally their blooming time. And then on top of that, we had this little SLC, Seagulls Raindrop, crossed with Cattleya. Why not? And then we had our little Sophronitis up there. So those are they. So that one won't stand up because of the roots coming out the bottom. That's one of the good reasons not to stand up properly, quite honestly. And then this one that came from a totally different place, but was just out of the ones that Alan is looking after for the guy who's died. This was one of the very few in bloom that he could sort of show me, and I grabbed that. Milan was there yesterday as well at Alan's place. He took away the Cattleya Angel Heart that I've been saving for ages for him. And we've now lost Milan, not in as much as he'll still be around on the Facebook group and the odd comment on YouTube, but he's moving up the other end of the country very, very soon. I think he's got to be out of his current place today, in fact. And then over the weekend, all his orchids and everything are moving up north, with the eventual goal of getting a place with his partner in Scotland, which is even farther away. So I doubt if we'll see much of him anymore. But yeah, so we had a nice gathering, nice chat, and an opportunity to pick up my new plants, which we've now had a bit of a look at. And I'm trying to put on my bright and cheery voice, whereas I don't feel like it one little bit. So I'm really not. I don't think I'm going to do anything out here today. It's going to have to lump it. I ought to do my mounts today, but they can flipping wait. I'm just going to have a nothing day and just see if I can get some flipping strength back. I just feel all washed out. It's not like I've been doing loads. It's just something's got me. A bug's got me or something. Not the bug, don't worry about that. Even if I'd caught anything yesterday, it wouldn't have any effect by this morning, would it? So don't panic over that front, it's not that. We all did the proper thing, kept well away from each other, did hands and all that sort of stuff, and didn't breathe in each other's air and all that sort of stuff. It was all organised, so it was okay. Plus, I'm lucky, this area where I live, around here, one of the safest areas in the country. It's got one of the lowest infection rates of everywhere. Yeah, so we're lucky. So the chances of bumping into anybody that's got it is pretty damn slim. Probably more likely to catch Black Death or something. But anyway, I'm going to get going now. So that's the new plants, and as I say, the Tulumnias, for now, they can just stay in those little pots. They're not doing any harm there. They're ever so easy to water like that. You can just chuck them in some water. Just leave them soak for a couple of minutes and then just take them up and hang them up. I'll need to get some hangers on them so they can hang up. And then the Cattleyas, the Cattleya, the Epicattleya, they'll need to come out of those pots. I did notice on the Cattleya this huge new growth with the sheath has yet to produce any new roots. So in the not too distant future I will get an ideal opportunity to get that out of its pot, because the new roots will start. So that'll be that one. This one I don't know anything about as far as growing it or anything like that. But again, there's a good new growth there and another one here. And it's a matter of having a dig round in the weeds. My God, that's wet. And, seeing if I can see any active roots down there to risk repotting it. That'll go in a holy clay pot. That will probably go in the same. It's the only reason why not at the moment. That'll stay where it is for now. And the Tulumnias will stay where they are. And this will come out of here. That looks like a mixture of small and large bark. Roots are very wet. I need to see what these roots look like when it dries off a bit, to see what colour they go and everything like that. But it's got an active new growth coming up, quite a nice strong new growth. It's just a matter of whether that's already produced its roots or not. So that will get repotted in the not too distant future. And we've still got this to sort out, the little, this has nothing to do with this haul, but the previous one. It's my little Orengis, Mr. Sidii, or should I say Orengises? Orengii? Two Orengis, that's the best way to say it, isn't it? Well, there are two plants there, I'm pretty sure, and I'd prefer those to be mounted than in a pot. And if I'm going to mount them, I need to mount them separately so that I don't get caught out at a show ever again. When I had two beautiful Orengis on a mount with a total of 5 beautiful large spikes, and I got told you can't put that in the show, it's 2 plants. So it had to come home with me. We won't do that again. I didn't know, I found out the hard way. We won't do it again. So yeah, they'll probably go on separate mounts. Yeah. I'll see you next time. So that's, I'd like to say that's the last plants I'm buying this year, but I already know it's not because I've got another order on its way from from eBay. So we have a few more plants to look at. I think the email arrived this morning to say they'd been posted, so I'll probably get them beginning of next week sometime. So, right, I shall see you next time, and thanks for dropping by.